Hi guys, so this is part 2 of Notes 2.11, and we're going to focus on some of the buzz math problems you may see today. So the level that you're using is using integer addition and subtraction concepts to solve problems number 2. Number 1 was too easy. So Gavin looks at the temperature at 10 o'clock in the morning. It's 4 degrees Fahrenheit. In the afternoon he looks again and it's 9 degrees Fahrenheit. By how many degrees has the temperature risen? So you're trying to find the change in temperature from -4 to 9 degrees. This 10 o'clock, some of you say, well, where does the 10 come in? He's just saying, hey, that was the time that he saw the temperature. So we need to write an addition sentence here. It makes sense to use the end point and the starting point. So what's the end point? The end point is 9 degrees, and then subtract it from the start point, minus -4 degrees. That's not an addition sentence, Mr. Mason. You're right, because you have to use KCC, keep, change, change. So by how many degrees has the temperature risen? It's risen by 13 degrees. 2, Jessica has scored 7 points in a card game, but she draws a card that gives her 10 points, but then loses 20 points on the following turn. What is her score in points now? So she started with 7 points, got 10 points, gives her 10 points plus 10, but then loses 20 points, so minus 20. We need to do keep, change, change here, keep, change, change, so plus a negative. And look, this turns into 17 plus 10, which is 17, 7 plus 10, which is 17, plus -20, which DSSL problem here gives us -3. Her score right now is in the negative because she had 17 points, but then she lost 20. A Roman is born in the year 20 BC. BC means before Christ. It's also negative, so -20. And dies at the age of 13 years. Use a negative number to express the year in which he died. Well, let's see. If we thought about a timeline, right? Here's the timeline of 0, right? That's when Jesus is born. But -20 is when he's born. He only lives for 13 years, right? 13 years. So what number, if this is 13 years, what number does he die at? So basically this is saying -20, because before Christ, -20, plus 13. I get to live for 13 years. So this is a DSSL problem. He dies in what year? He dies in year -7 BC. So BC, I don't know if BuzzMath actually has to put down BC. Zachary is playing a game where you earn and lose points, depending on which color cards you draw. He has 6 points, so he's got +6 right now, so we put down 6. On his first draw, he gets 8 points, so +8. But on his second, he loses 25, -25. How many points does he have now? So first of all, we need to KCC, so plus a negative. So this part, he had 6, he gained 8, he has 14 now. But then he loses 25 points. It's a DSSL problem. 25 minus 14 should give me -11. Why? Because there are more negatives than there are positives. Number 5, Isaac has a balance of -23 in the game of Monopoly until 3 players land on his property and pay him 100 each. All right, so he starts with -23, but then one player lands on his property and gets 100, another player lands on his property and gets 100, and a third player lands on his property and gets 100. We could do that, or we could rewrite this problem as -23 plus 3 times 100, right? So this would give us -23 plus 300. Put a big or there because either sentence is fine. This is still a DSSL problem, and you have to ask yourself, okay, what's 300 minus 23? Well, 300 minus 20 should give me 280, minus 3 more gives me 277. So now he has $277 because all those people landed on his property. Got himself out of debt. Lauren has already spent $22 this week. She also needs to pay for her lunch at school, which costs $10, right? So this is all negative money, right? Spending, paying, so -22 plus -10. If she pays for lunch 3 times this week, what negative number represents her expensive? So this is how much it costs for one lunch. Multiply that by 3 because she's going to buy 3 lunches. So you know order of operations, you got to multiply before you add. So -22 plus -30, and that should give us -52 because this is SSAK. So she's going to spend $52 this week on lunch and other expenses. Again, this key thing here, because she ate lunch 3 times, you got to take that 3 and multiply it by 10. Last one. In a computer game, Abigail has already earned $25. So 25, she starts off with that. 3 times in a row, she loses $9. So plus -9, but times it by 3 because it happens 3 times. And 5 times in a row, she loses $6. So plus -6. How many times did it happen? 5 times 5. So let's do the multiplication first. We get 25 plus, what does this give us? This gives us -27 plus, what does this give us? This gives us -30. So we have a combination of SSAK and DSSL. Let's do the SSAK first. That's easy. It gives us -57. And then 25 plus -57 is a DSSL problem. So what's 57 minus 25? Well, 50 minus 25 is 25, and then we have 7 left over. So 57 minus 25, 32. So our answer is -$32. Now, they asked for a number, right? That's why it's -32. If they just asked for, how much she lost, you would just say $32, right? The lost $32 is that negative sign. That's the end of part 2 notes.